Academy. He goes out to the mound now. And, Jerry, you mentioned Syndergaard did nicely, especially the fact that, considering that he fell behind a couple of hitters and still only faced 3.
Yeah, the first batter that he faced, Barney, fell behind 2-0, was able to come back to retire him, but then he seemed to be on his game with his fastball working at the both sides of the plate. Of course, at 10 pitches, it's really hard to tell, but considering that Syndergaard's history says that if he has his problems, most of his problems in the first inning, he's got that one out of the way, and now he can turn past it.
All right, here we go. Matt den Dekker leading it off against Jeff Bennett. 51 saw Bennett in Albuquerque. Bennett is a guy that has put together a decent ERA, 4.03, 5 up and 6 down on the record. In 16 appearances, he has 1 complete game. Bennett is 6'3", 200 pounds. He delivers ball 1 to Matt den Dekker starting off. And Bennett's been around, 34 years old, out of Gordonsville, Tennessee, but living in Nashville now. He had time in independent ball last year. And a pitch to den Dekker misses 2-0. All right, ladies and gentlemen, meet the new league leader in hitting, Mr. Matt den Dekker. If the season were to end today, den Dekker would win the batting title, hitting .331. Pitches a strike, 2-1. He's got 8 homers, including 1 in the Sacramento series. 46 batted in. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 10, and that's catapulted him to the league lead right now. Here's the 2-1, and it's up and away, ball 3. 3-1. Last year, den Dekker was a very streaky hitter. This year, he's been also streaky, but the good streaks have lasted a lot longer, and that's why he tops the league. 3-1 pitch, and he takes ball 4. So den Dekker immediately walks, and of course, he's got good speed on top of the pronounced ability to swing the bat. So he now is at first base. And den Dekker, well, 51's not a running team, but he's got 9 steals in 13 tries, one of the few guys who will run. Matt Reynolds comes up. Albuquerque defensively. Clint Robinson at first. Alex Guerrero at second. Darwin Barney at short. Jimmy Romack at third. Brock Peterson out at left. Chuck Peterson, no relation, different spelling, in center. Mike Baxter in right. Tim Fedorovich catching for Jeff Bennett. The pitch is high, ball 1, 1-0 to Reynolds. Bennett was the Pirates' 19th round pick back in 1998 out of high school. And born June the 10th, 1980. Been around. Reached the big leagues, not with the Pirates, but with the Brewers, 10 years ago. He was a workhorse. Got into 60 games with the Brewers. 1-5 with a 4.79 ERA way back when. The runner goes. The pitch, a hit and run strike. Down to second is den Dekker, and he's thrown out. You can't run on Tim Fedorovich very easily. He's got a cannon, and that was a broken hit and run play. A 1-0 pitch, a pitch that Reynolds normally would never chase. It was way up above his shoulders. He started to swing, and then he tried to hold up, realized he had no play, and then Fedorovich, a strong throw to nail den Dekker. 1 out.
Well, it's the pitcher Bennett who's calling for timeout, pointing to his finger. Apparently, he pointed into the bench. Maybe he needs a little nail work. Damon Berryhill, the manager for Albuquerque, is making his way out, and the possum, as they call him. Sometimes the trainer comes out and takes a look at his finger.
Sometimes you think blister on that in that case, but he's showing the outside of his finger, so you may be right there. That may be a nail issue right there. So den Dekker gets nailed, and we have an issue with the nail. Meanwhile, it's 1-1 on Matt Reynolds. And speaking of hot hitters, Reynolds, who was leading the Eastern League in hitting at the time of his promotion, hitting .355, has done little to disappoint since he has arrived here. He has played in 43 games, batting .329 with 3 homers and 22 batted in, and had 6 hits and 16 at-bats in the Sacramento series, driving in 4 runs. And now Albuquerque's trainer, Mr. Possum, coming out there to have a word here.
You know, I know he has a regular name, but I've only known him as Possum all the years at fantasy camps and especially some time with the Dodgers when I did the radio some years ago.
Maybe it's because his regular name, Yosuke Nakajima, is so much easier to say than Possum. 1-1 to count.
You know, you're talking about Reynolds hitting .329 coming up to AAA. After a pretty good turn at Binghamton, all of a sudden he's on the radar as far as the Mets are concerned. When they get together after the minor league season and start taking a look at the prospects, the guys who have come along, you can bet that Reynolds' name is going to be included among those guys who could possibly help the big league team in the near future.
Bennett now will take at least one warm-up toss with Tim Fedorovich. By the way, for Den Decker, 9 steals, and he just got caught for the 5th time. And he just threw 1 pitch, and he says he's okay. So the at-bat to Reynolds will resume. No score, bottom of the first. Breeze blowing briskly across from right to left, by the way. And the 51s are set up with Anthony Saratelli coaching first, Wally Backman coaching third. No score, bottom of the first. Den Decker walked, caught, stealing. Now Reynolds up with a 1-1 count. The pitch from Bennett, breaking ball, hit up the third base side, diving stop by Romack, who gets to his feet and throws out Reynolds with an excellent play. 2 down.
Big league play all the way at third base for Romack. He was a late addition to the lineup, and he dives on a 2-hopper headed toward the left field area down near the bullpen, but he stops it, throws out Reynolds 5-3. 2 quick outs here for the 51s.
Batter Alan Dykstra. Anyway, Bennett spent most of the following year, his first foray to the big leagues, 04, 05 with Nashville. He was a closer. He had 13 saves. First full year he's been a closer. Then he missed 06 with injury. Here's the pitch. Dykstra hits a slow tapper toward third. Moving in to pick it up is Romack. He double clutches and throws too late to get Dykstra. A rare infield single for Dykstra, and that'll bring up Andrew Brown.
Romack charged that ball, was a little late getting in to get it, but he got the right hop, and then when he pulled the ball out of his glove, he had to double clutch, and that's the difference between an out and a base hit. So Dykstra's on first with 2 men out here in the first.
Dykstra came in at 271. He starts off with an infield single to the left side. And here's Andrew Brown. So there's the first hit for Vegas. No score, bottom of the first. Anyway, Bennett then went to the Braves, had a little bit of big league time with them in 07. Then in 08, he really hit pay dirt. He got into 72 games out of the Braves bullpen. 3-7 with 3 saves and a 3.7 ERA. He really found a home there. But the following year, after pitching in 33 games, he was dealt to Tampa Bay and then got some time at AAA Durham. Brown takes a strike on 1. 2010, he was back in this league at Nashville and Durham. And in 2011, he spent a lot of time in this league at Reno, where he was 3-0 in 24 relief appearances with a 4.29 ERA. 0-1 on Brown. Andrew at 287, a team best 18 homers, 55 batted in. He tries to hold up on a pitch and he goes around. 0-2. Brown in the Sacramento series, 4 out of 11 with a home run. 0-2. Bennett comes originally from a very small town, Brush Creek, Tennessee. He says you have to have a very detailed map to find it. Here now is the 0-2 to Brown, and it's down and away, breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Ball and 2 strikes in Andrew Brown. Josh Satin on deck. No score, bottom of the first. Game 1 of a 5-game set. Nice night here at the ballpark on Budweiser Dollar Beer Night. Breaking ball bounces. Fedorovich blocks it nicely as he tears the mask off. 2-2. Looking back to his first big league year of 04, Bennett will tell you he got some help as a kid from people like Dan Kolb and Brooks Kiesnick and Dave Burba. They kind of took him under his wing, under their wing. 2-2. Outfield deep and straight away. Andrew Brown waiting. Dykstra just a couple of steps off first, held on by Clint Robinson. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball's high at 88. Ball 3. 3-2. Bennett, fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. Your basic 4-pitch mix. 3-2. So Dykstra will be off and moving on the pitch. Josh Satin waits on deck. Bennett had Tommy John surgery. That's why he missed all of 06. The pitch is up and in. A breaking ball. Didn't want to give in to Brown, so he threw him a 3-2 breaking ball. It was up and in. So he's walked 2 and given up a hit in the inning. Runners at first and second with 2 outs, and the batter's Josh Satin.
A little surprised to see that 3-2 curveball because he hasn't thrown it yet for a strike. So he tries the 3-2, walks the hitters, 2 men on, 51s with a runner in scoring position, and Satin coming to the plate.
Satin checks in at 289, 7 homers and 37 batted in. He was 1 for 4 2 nights ago. Then a finale in Sacramento with a double. And he steps in now. The pitch. Big curveball, low and inside, ball 1. 1 ball to no strikes on Satin. Month in 09, Bennett was on the disabled list with a fractured left hand. Unhappy with his pitching, he punched a dugout door, breaking that, unfortunately, non-pitching hand, but he still had to miss about 5 weeks. Pitch is low and outside, 2-0 on Satin. No score, bottom of the first. 2 on, 2 out for Vegas, and like any good catcher, Tim Fedorovich calls time to go out and speak to Bennett here with a 2-0 count on Satin.
You know, that's really the value of a veteran catcher. A lot of teams want to get younger, and in a lot of cases that means cheaper. But when you have a veteran influence like Fedorovich coming out there to talk to a young pitcher, or in this case somebody who's struggling, those words of wisdom can help you get out of an inning. It's a tough inning right now for Bennett. He's got 2 men on, and he's 2 behind the count to Satin, 2-0. So he's got to find a way to work out of a jam.
Off second is Dykstra. The runner at first, Brown. Here's the 2-0 to Satin. He takes a strike on the inside. It's 2-1.
Satin took a pitch, probably up. Those are the kind of pitches that a guy like Satin, batting in 5th spot in the lineup, drives deep. But with the count 2-0 and the pitcher's struggling, you're going to make sure that he throws a strike.
This will be a 2-1. The stretch by Bennett, the pitch. Down and away. Well, the fastball at 87. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. So Dykstra at second, Brown at first, 2 outs. In the bottom of the first, so far, one of the key plays here. Fedorovich throwing out Den Decker. Otherwise, Bennett might be in a little hotter soup than he is now. 3-1 on Satin. Kevin Plawecki is on deck. Breeze blowing out to left. And Satin tired of waiting, calls time, steps away. Game 1 of the 5-gamer. Get used to saying 4-gamer.
I know. You know, it makes a lot more sense to have 5-game series. I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay, here's the 3-1 from Bennett. He stretches, and the pitch. Satin hits a ground ball to third base. To his left to pick it up is Romack. He goes the short way to Guerrero for the force out on Brown. 5-4 the fielder's choice, and Jerry will tell us why the 5-game series make more sense when we come back. No runs on 1 hit. No errors and 2 left, and after 1, no score.